We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Thursday. I'm down in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia. Believe it or not, it's in the 20s outside, and we got 2 inches of fucking snow. Go figure. I leave Minnesota where it's cold as hell. It's still cold down here, plus, we get snow. So, this is all very interesting. This is intriguing that we're in the deep south and it's cold as shit out here. Nonetheless, we are here. I've been having trouble with my Zoom on my computer, so we're doing another TikTok live. And I tend to like those because we get a lot of different people on here, including the regulars, and we get to talk about a lot of information that needs to be talked about, especially on a day like today because we had so much shit going on with Donald Trump, so much bullshit. I mean, there's a million things to talk about here. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm going to bring in some of the regulars in here, and then we're going to take some questions from a lot of you too. Let's see here. We got Eric from Iowa. Bring him in here. TJ, the plumber, is out there, no doubt. Rebecca. Um, There'll be
Hey,
some other
Mike.
folks as well. Uh, hey, Eric, how you doing? How's the weather up in Iowa?
Cold, snowy.
Here we've got 20s in the 20s and about 3 inches of snow outside. Fucking
Really?
ridiculous. I came
That's
down here
about
to
what
get
I've
out of the
got.
snow and the cold, but here we are. Yeah, except
That's
we're
about what
we're
we
down on
have
the
here.
eastern and southern coast. Yeah, it's fucked up.
It
Well,
is.
we're gonna we're gonna bring some other people in here. People talk to me. Oh, can you believe he did this? Can you believe he did that? Here's this going on. Here's that going on. Yeah, this ain't no surprise. He promised all this stuff. The thing I find the most ironic is that we're hearing from some of the Republicans that are getting buyers to do that. Now, here's the crazy thing. Every time he says something, they'd say, well, he didn't really mean that. And now they're saying, I didn't think he'd really do that. So you voted for somebody, didn't say what he meant, and you couldn't believe he would do the things he's saying. That's fucking ridiculous.
100% I would agree with you. That is, but that's typical Republican if you think about it. And then they try to move the goalpost. Well, it's not really that, or even as they're telling it to their face, well, we're going to do this. No, that's not what he means. He means this other thing. No, the executive order says this. It is mind-boggling how uninformed this group really is.
It truly is. And, it starts out with this gesture that Elon Musk made, the gesture that will go unspoken because the TikTok gods might be mad at us for doing that. But
Yeah.
he goes and does this. He does it twice. And it looks very much like we see something in the 30s or in Charlottesville or any place where you find white supremacists.
Uh-huh.
And it's identical to that. And now these people are coming out saying, well, you have to understand, he has Asperger's. First of all, it's Asperger's. And second of all, they don't call it anymore. And who are you to start asking us to feel for people who have some disabilities or something? These are the fuckers that are absolutely against anybody that's marginalized in this country. And then they try to explain, well, he meant this or he meant that. Why do they always have to explain what their people are actually doing when they do horrid shit?
Because they don't want to accept the fact that they're actually doing the horrible shit they're doing. They're making excuses, as TJ said, because they know what it really is, but they don't want to say, "Well, we're on the same side as those people," but they also don't want to switch sides either. They're convinced they're on the right side. That they think it's like picking your sports team. You pick your sports team when you're 5 or 6 or whatever, and you follow that team the rest of your life. And they think it's the same way for politics.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at different strategies and how to deal with Trumplafucks going forward in this shit show as it ensues. And I think there's really only one way to deal with these people. Every time we make some complaint or some accusation or just expose them for the crazy shit they're doing, every time they do that, they want to explain it away. And I think henceforth we should just not even regard that at all. Just totally disregard them. Don't engage them. Don't argue with them. Don't debate them. Do what the Trumplafucks did. Just keep talking and keep exposing and continue to accuse them of the things they're actually doing. And just talk loud and talk over them and disregard them and don't even give them an opportunity to explain away anything because there's some stupid fucks that will believe them.
Oh yeah, they will. Now, did you see Mike Johnson is forming a new select committee?
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
hear
that.
that?
Well, yeah, go ahead. Tell us about it.
He wants to form a select committee to reinvestigate January 6th, and they want to go after the investigators, the people who investigated what happened. And I did a TikTok on it, and I said, hey, what they're doing is they want to go back, do this sham reinvestigation, focus on the investigators, so they can throw up an alternative narrative. So they can always muddy the waters a little bit. So they can say, well, see, it was clearly a democratically led weaponization, and here's our version of what happened. And it's bullshit. Like the Republicans of old have fallen so far from where they were. Could you imagine Nixon Republicans after Watergate trying to
Yeah.
explain away Watergate?
Well, see, that's the thing. They're when they say they're going to reinvestigate January 6th, they're not talking about the event. They want
No.
to investigate the people that were on the January 6th committee. When are the eggs coming down? When is inflation coming down? When are you going to have time to do all this shit? I mean, that's one of the reasons we saw the House of Representatives the last 2 years not get anything done. They're too busy litigating shit from the past. And it's ironic. You talked about Mike Johnson. When Mike Johnson was asked about the release, the pardoning of all these January 6 committees, he said something like, well, we believe in second chances. We don't want to live in the past. Fuck you, don't. We're still talking about 2020 because you got your ass kicked and you can't handle it.
Yeah, they say they don't want to live in the past, but when it's convenient about something that, makes them look bad, but when it's something that they can use to grift on or control the narrative or spin it or whatever, they're more than willing to keep bringing it up because the more they keep bringing it up, it's a distraction from them not bringing down egg prices, from Donald Trump not ending the war in Ukraine, from anything they're not accomplishing.
No,
And
they're not accomplishing anything.
they're just trying to control the narrative because they know if they don't, midterms are going to roll around, even with the map looking as potentially bad as it does for the Senate. I mean, it could be hard for Democrats to pick up seats in the Senate with seats are up for grabs. They could do it, but it's bad.
Right.
They don't want to risk losing the Senate and losing the House. So they're going to try to spin this narrative as loud and as often as they can so that their voters don't focus on the shit Donald Trump's doing or not doing and going,
Right.
oh shit, the Democrats are just bad. Vote them out. It's a
Yeah.
game.
It's a fucking ridiculous game. Somebody on the comments said, "LOL." So are you just going to call people names until they vote blue? Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm going to do. That's all I have left to do because you dumb fucks elected a disaster. So I'm going to call him out for everything he's done, everything he is, and everybody that supports him. And if you have a problem, with that go some fucking place else. Well, he's going to have to now because I blocked the son of a bitch. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I knew he's not one of the people on our side, and as I've said before, we're not going to talk to people who aren't on our side. Okay, we got a lot of noise going on here. It's Auntie Dane. Auntie Dane, are you there? Auntie Dane. Hello, Auntie Dane, are you there? I'm sorry. I don't know what they were listening to, but not my kind of music. But I couldn't really tell. let's try one more and just see what happens, and we'll let it sit for a while if it doesn't come up right. Okay, this one is called Ride or Die. That sounds promising, or maybe not. We'll see if they come through. If not, we'll continue to talk. And I know TJ's out there and Rebecca's out there. I talked to Old Soul, and Old Soul probably won't be able to make it. Oh, we're having some problems here. Um, we had that same problem when we started last time. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
Um, okay, this has got to be a safe one. We'll see if what this one does. Okay, this is JCT or JC the hippie. Do we have you here, JC?
Yes, you do, and it's good to see you, Rational Boomer.
It's good to see you, JC. What's on your mind today?
Oh, I don't know. I was just reading about the J6er that just got out of jail, but he had some felony
Gun
conviction
charge.
for
Yeah, a gun
prior
charge.
to J6, and now he's now back in jail for being a felon carrying a gun.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh,
That's too bad.
so it just so upsets me so much, you know. Um,
Well, one of the problems with having violent criminals released, there's an incredibly high percentage of recidivism.
yes.
They do it again. And I suspect we'll see it out of these people. They're not the brightest people in the world. They tend to violence. The only problem I have with it, what innocent people are going to be affected by these dumb fucks? That's the only thing that concerns me at this point. I'll be happy when they end up back in jail.
Well, I saw a video on TikTok today, and this young woman, very, feminine woman, not some, real tough looking woman, but she was saying
Yeah.
she was very happy that she had weapons in her house to protect herself after all these J6 people were released. And she didn't seem like the type of person that you would expect to have weapons, but
Well,
apparently she did.
there's a couple people that were relatives of the J6ers. I know Elmer's, whatever the fuck his name is, one of the leaders of the Proud Boys or Oath Keepers. I don't know. I can't keep them straight. They're fucking
Well, they
both
were
dumb
having a
clubs.
big rally today.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
But
because
but
they're
the
so
thing
happy.
is, his ex-wife and son turned him in, and now he's out loose, and they're terrified
Oh
because
yeah.
he's a violent criminal, and they turned him in. They never thought in their wildest dreams that he'd be released. So these people are concerned. I think a lot of people are concerned. You have to wonder, Eric. What do you think?
Oh,
Uh, they're going to pull together another militia. Is that what they're going to do and try to scare people?
They
probably.
might try,
I
but
heard excuse
the
me.
thing is,
Sorry, I
they,
apologize.
they they failed the last time. These guys
Right.
were a joke up until January 6th. Most people had never even heard of half of them.
Right.
It's hard to
And
train when you got a belly full of beer and your belly comes out over your belt and hangs down, and you're supposed to be a tough guy, you know?
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not going to march very long. They're going to only march to the refrigerator and to
uh,
the bathroom, and then they're fucking winded.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. You
a
got it.
couple of the best names I heard for them were Meal Team 6 and the Gravy
Right.
Seals.
I like the
The
gravy
Gravy
seals. I
Seals.
like that one. That's what
That's
they are.
absolutely true. Let
That's
me ask you
unreal.
this, JC. You being a hippie, you remember the 60s, of course. I was young at the time, but the 60s were all about peace and love and all that sort of thing. With
Oh yeah.
all this violence we're seeing out of the Republicans now, and with these insurrectionists being released, do you see the Democrats raising up a little bit in response or in trying to push back? I've always said that if Donald Trump won, I'm more concerned about violence then because we've got a lot of people that are terrified, worried about
Yeah.
the future, worried about their kids and grandkids. This is a recipe for disaster.
It is, and I am so disappointed in Democrats. I'm a Democrat. I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally. I'm Union, UAW, Teamsters. Our whole family were all union people. We were Jimmy Hoffa people, you know. And
Yeah,
the thing about it is that the Democrats are a bunch of milk toast, in my opinion. I gave the Democrats money all last year trying to get Kamala elected, and I'm not going to give them any more money. I've had enough of it. I'm
Yeah,
just fed up with it, But
yeah.
here's the
I think there's a
thing.
lot of people disappointed with the Democrats, and
Oh,
that's a
absolutely.
problem for the Democrats.
And then today, and this was just on YouTube, the Midas Touch Network, some of their announcers uh, have been threatened. Are you still there? I see it says live paused.
I'm
Okay.
still there. I was looking at
Have
something on
been
my phone.
threatened with death threats. Midas Touch.
Wow,
Some of the people on there have
really?
received death threats. It's a shame. I mean, I'm not afraid because I grew up in a family of cops. Three cops in my family, a bunch of hunters up in Michigan. And if they come to my front door, they're not going to be walking away if they try to break in my house. I guarantee it.
I think
I'm
a
just
lot of
one of
people
those
are feeling
people
that way now.
that I'm a liberal, but I'm also a Detroit, Michigan liberal. And you know what? We don't take shit from nobody. It's that
There you go.
simple.
But I think that's one of the things that the Republicans are not the brightest people in the world. They think everybody who's a Democrat or an independent or anybody against them is weak and going to curl up and die if they come after them. That's not the
No
truth.
way.
We're
It's
dealing
not
with
true with
much
me.
more intelligent people. We're dealing with much more intelligent people, and they could be in trouble. I just hope at some point the Democrats stand up, and I don't mean in violence, but stand up and push back. This has
Yeah,
been the
stand
weakness
up
for
and
the
say
Democrats
no
all
to it.
along.
I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
it's the ACLU's already filed several lawsuits to try and stop some of this ridiculousness. But the thing is, I read that, and I don't know why, they didn't say why in the article, that some of these pardons that Trump's trying to pull as a blanket pardon, that's
Yeah.
illegal. And I mean, he didn't do it one at a time. He did it as a blanket, and apparently that's illegal. That's what they're
Well,
saying.
but here's the thing, JC. He's done a lot of legal things. Who's going to stop him? Not the Democrats, not the DOJ, especially when he has control of it. We've seen him break law after law, getting convicted of felony after felony. This is what I mean. The Democrats got to step up and push back. You can't
Yes.
just allow this stuff to happen. They do have some authority, they do have some power. They aren't completely buried in the House of Representatives. It's time the Democrats step up and try to redeem themselves before 2026.
Well, I was against the filibuster. I've always been against it. It's the worst law in the world. But right now, the Democrats need to use it. And on every bill they try to put in the Senate, filibuster the hell out of it. Because it'll take
Absolutely.
60. We've got to do that.
Absolutely.
And if we don't,
Absolutely.
then, we're not what we were supposed to be. We're
Well, I
supposed to
think
be
we're
the
kind of
party
at
of
the
law and
stage.
order, but it's time we use law and order to stand up.
Absolutely. Well, JC, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. We're going to get a bunch more folks on here. So thank you very
Sure,
much.
I've got to go to bed because I've got to get up tomorrow at 6 a.m. for a doctor's appointment. So it's been fun talking with you. You guys have a great evening. And I'm going to try
You
and
too.
figure out how to get out of here. I'm not sure exactly
Yeah.
how or maybe you can kick me out. I don't know.
Oh no,
Somehow I'll
I'll
figure it
disconnect.
out.
I'll disconnect you. But thank you very much.
Good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you too. So that's JC the hippie. One of the big news stories they were talking about was this Episcopal bishop, this woman in the Washington National Cathedral, who looked Donald Trump in the face, and all she said was, you know, these marginalized folks, LGBTQ, immigrants, illegal and otherwise, they're terrified. Please just have some mercy on them. And that pissed Donald Trump off. And you know why? It wasn't about the message. It was about that she showed him up in front of the TV cameras. And as I've said so many times before, he can't handle that. The worst thing you can do is embarrass Donald Trump. And he was embarrassed at that situation. And now he's talking horrible shit about her. One congressman, Mike Collins, said they should deport her. She's fucking born in New Jersey, for God's sake. So
Yeah.
what was your thought on that when that all happened? It's just so ridiculous. It's crazy.
Oh,
It is ridiculous. I mean, I haven't done a TikTok on it or anything, but like you said, it's all about him getting shown up. He doesn't want to be embarrassed, and she embarrassed him because he
Yeah,
said, basically, what you're doing is scaring people. Be nice.
right.
We
That's
want to
it.
hear it.
No. And all these religious people like Franklin Graham and other people have stood up for Donald Trump in this. Where is the Bible in this? And these people that are supposed to be men and women of God and follow the Bible and the word of Jesus. That's all she said was something that Jesus would have said, and they're all head up about this. This tells you how serious they are about their religion. It's about politicians, it's about politics, and it's about power. They don't give two fucks about about religion or word of God or whatever the fuck they want to say.
No, they don't. They don't care about religion. I mean, if as I can't think of his name. There's a creator from Alabama who was talking way back, and he said you could literally have the devil versus Jesus himself on the ballot,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the devil running with an R with his name, and Jesus preaching everything in the Bible and saying that was his platform with a Democrat next to his name, and they would vote for the devil every single time.
that's absolutely true. I'm pulling somebody else in here now, somebody we've never heard from before, so it's always good to hear from somebody new.
Oh
It's
my
Tina.
God. Hi, can
Hey,
you hear me?
Tina. We can hear you and we can see you, so glad to have
Oh,
you.
perfect. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've actually joined a live. How exciting. Um, I'm a blue dot in Kentucky. We're
Oh,
fortunate enough, yeah, that we do have a Democratic governor, Steve
yeah,
Bashir.
and
I'm sorry, Andy Bashir.
Andy Bashir.
Yep, he certainly got us through COVID with his daily talks, and um, unfortunately, he's the only Democrat we have. So he's really up against, a significant. It's very hard for him to get anything passed. He's a good guy, but so I live I'm like a mile from Ohio, so of course Ohio is a red state,
Yeah,
and I'm a medical professional, so that's why I'm not sharing my live. But I have major concerns for my patients. I've a lot of them. Again, I'm in a red state. They came in with their MAGA hats on and their MAGA shirts, and I try to educate them as I go, and it's very difficult to do. They're very brainwashed. So for the past 2 days, I really haven't said anything to them, but I've shown them news articles. I'm sorry, you see my emotional support dog here.
I see him.
That's Leroy. Anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to share that there are good folks in Kentucky, and
Oh, sure.
I know a lot of people that actually probably do know JD Vance, and he's as scary, if not scarier, than Donald Trump. And I'm appalled that um, they've just kind of swept under the rug the salute or the hand motion that Elonia did on stage. I'm so embarrassed for our country. I think we're the laughing stock of the world right now. And
I'm afraid you're right. I'm afraid you're right. And they may be trying to sweep this thing with Elon under the rug, but it's not working. I mean, maybe the media isn't talking about it as much as they should, but it's all over social media. And what we found out over the last year or two, social media has some significant impact. And that's why it's important for us to try to control it, try to carry the narrative, try to talk louder and longer than they do.
I'm doing my best. And the bishop. I know you were just talking about that. I loved her sermon. I thought that
Oh, absolutely.
and the fact that he could not tell her to just be quiet, and he couldn't talk over her. He couldn't do any of that, and I feel like she really put him in his place. But I really didn't like Tiffany's look. I really didn't care about the way that JD kind of, discredited the things that she was saying. I do feel like Usha may have, or however you say her name, um, she may have gotten I don't know, maybe it hit her right in the feels. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm certainly scared for our country. And my question is, Is there a chance that we could just do like some class action lawsuit for PTSD?
I suppose there could. You can sue anybody for anything. And Donald Trump has a history of losing lawsuits, so theoretically you could. We find a lawyer that's
Bad
willing to
plan.
take it on.
I mean,
What's that?
Said it's not a bad plan.
if we
Can't
got
hurt.
yeah, and we got some gung ho lawyer that would, and for nothing more than just to maybe add some more humiliation. And again, the January 6th rioters, 8 of them are from Ohio, which is not far from where I
Right.
live. And it's scary. The one has already gone out and purchased guns. I just watched him on BBC. Someone interviewed him, and he was not very nice. Yeah, it's scary, but what do you do? Keep fighting, keep
Well,
the fight.
yeah, I think there are some Democrats out there that don't stand for shit, much like the Republicans claim to do. And now that they know who these people are,
Yeah.
and now that they know what they're capable of, they might get some stronger pushback than they've ever seen before. And since they're bullies, they don't like pushback. They like to be in charge. They like to have a certainty when they attack the Capitol or whatever. They had Donald Trump behind them. Now, there's going to be people who are scared and upset. And let me ask you this: you're a blue dot in Kentucky and near Ohio. I assume you know some other people that are of the liberal bent in your area. How are they feeling right now? How are they feeling being in this
I,
cesspool of red?
I actually have a trans son who is a scientist, very intelligent human being who is probably getting ready to move to Austria, I believe. I don't know wherever their main company is located. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and we'll be leaving a wonderful job, and he has contributed greatly to supporting. I'm trying to think how to word this without using the name of the company that he's employed by. Um, Sustaining foods, kind of like the seed bank kind of stuff.
Right.
Will probably take his expertise to another country. Terrified. Basically has armed themselves now out of fear. Both of my children actually have now gone and got their CCWs just for
Wow.
safety's sake. Yeah, just in the last 14 days actually. My husband's liberal. My mom is indifferent. Um, she doesn't really say anything. But yeah, I do know a few. I'm involved in the Democratic Party here in my county. Um, so we do try our best, but we just get a lot of pushback from, and most of it is just people just aren't educated. They just don't take the time to educate themselves. And when you bring up Project 2025 before the election, it was, oh, he's not going to do that. Oh, he's not. Yeah, that's not his plan. Every damn thing that has happened has come straight from the 2025 playbook. Everything from rolling back the 1965 EEOC that he just did. 1965. It was before I
Yeah.
was born. I'm just appalled that people can still support him. And I think, didn't he just pick a fight with the Vatican as well?
Oh yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah. That's piss off the Catholics who probably have more money than anybody, and don't take too kindly to critiques. So
Right.
that should be an interesting fight.
That's all I'm hoping for. I don't know. I don't know what we can do as a country. I don't know if anybody's even investigating all the things that he admitted to. I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I'm gonna fall trap
Well,
for
he's
that.
going to control the DOJ, so you can bet nothing's going to be done. I have to wonder if there isn't some other countries around the world that have some investigations into some of the things he's doing. I don't know how this all plays out. I still don't think he's going to be president for 4 years. I think he's lucky if he gets through 2 years, either by way of the Republicans getting tired of his bullshit, because he's not doing very well for them now. He makes them look bad. He's disparaging the fucking clergy. He's doing things that are going to break the economy. He's not going to do well for the Republicans, and at some point they will get sick of it.
Yeah.
It's
And the eggs and the gas are still the same. The
yeah,
prices
yeah. They
haven't gone
had
down any.
They haven't
Yeah,
gone
and they're
down
not
at
running.
all. Well, Tina, thank you very
Wow.
much for coming on. I want to talk
You'll have to
to
put me out
Eric.
because, yeah, I don't know how to get out. So you can just put me out.
No problem.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I finally figured it out too. All right, Tina, thank you
You
very
have a
much.
good
She's
day.
from
Thank you.
Kentucky. You too. Tina from Kentucky joins us. And Eric, I wanted to ask you a question as I'm bringing up Will now too. But the question I wanted to ask you, that was the big news story that Donald Trump revoked the 1965 Equal Employment Opportunity Act, 60 years old. It's about discrimination in employment, and he revoked it. And that's how it was reported in all the media. Now, a lot of people made a good point. He can't just revoke a law. You can't do that with an executive order. So it either has to go through Congress or something. Maybe you can explain that situation more. That's more something that I know you looked into probably.
Actually, that one I hadn't really heard much about today. Um, but
It
as
came
far as
late.
well, I will look into it later. But um, you can't revoke a law with an executive order. Now, I thought I
Right.
saw something. I think it was on your post. Somebody commented that he took the teeth out of enforcing it. Um, but even that, if the executive order itself is going against the like, that's going to be dubious at best. The courts don't take kindly to uh, people saying, "Hey, we're just not going to enforce that law."
Right.
They don't like that. You know, what I mean, this is going to be sketchy ground, but it's like everything Donald Trump does. He'll pass the executive order. It'll get tossed out by the courts. They'll bury that story. It won't. People won't see that part of it that it got tossed out. And his supporters will cheer. Yeah, the Equal Rights Amendment or the Equal Opportunity Employment thing is gone. It's great, not realizing how much it actually helps them, how much it benefits them. But they don't think two steps ahead. His supporters don't.
No.
He doesn't.
Well, it's because Donald Trump is performative. He doesn't have any substance. It's all about how everything looks. So he's going to put that out there to create chaos and scare some people. And that is his goal. Whether it gets done or not, he doesn't really give a shit at all. He's just trying to play the role of the tough guy. We have Will with us now, and I know he's
Um,
biting at the bit to talk. What's on your mind, Will? What's happening?
yeah, so yeah, the EEOC, just to go ahead and clear it, that's the law. But what Trump did is he eliminated LBJ's executive action asking the labor secretary to concentrate on equal rights. So it's
Okay.
still going to end up in court if someone tries to do it. It's basically what they've been working on for years. I mean, the whole DEI thing, they've put it as reverse racism. You know, white guys now can't get a fair shake because all those people of color have a foot up. It's the same bullshit. I did my TikTok on it. It's just really simple. All these executive orders are Trump trying to create his own time machine for all these people. He wants to go back
Right.
to 1955. They think all these people, Christian nationalists and all that 1955 was the greatest moment in American history. Everyone knew their place, women didn't talk back, and everyone knew what they were supposed to do. And that ain't going to work. You can do it,
No.
but people are going to fight you every inch of the way. And it's just, it's ridiculous. We're 3 days in, and he has no legislative agenda. Not one piece of legislation has been proposed from the White House. Notice that? Not
I'm
one
curious if
goddamn
you
piece.
I'm curious if either one of you heard this. I heard this on TikTok. I haven't seen a story on it, so I don't have any validation for it. But people kept coming out and saying, yeah, he put out his new tax plan. And they said in this tax plan, it shows that everybody making $360,000 or more will get a tax break. Everyone making under $360,000 will pay more taxes. Now, you can't believe everything you hear on TikTok or social media, but I did hear it a few times, so there must be something out there about that. Have either of you heard anything with regard to that?
I thought he was just going to reinstate, keep the current tax plan he had before. That's going to expire this year and just roll with it. Still the same tax cuts for the rich.
That's what I thought too.
Repeal
That's what I thought
anything
too.
and repeal anything that Biden did. So
Yeah.
who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if someone in his evil cabinet came up with something else for his buddies, for his rich folk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no question about that.
I hadn't heard anything on specifically that anywhere else but here on TikTok. But the thing is with Donald Trump, it sounds plausible. It does. It sounds like something he could do. But he's got so many different plans about what he wants to do. Where was his executive order for no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? Where's that? Haven't heard a word. Where's legislation to change it? Haven't heard about any of that.
Yep.
Then he says he wants to
Yeah.
do away with the IRS completely, no income tax, and go to the fair tax of 27 or 23%, whatever it is, the sales tax, which would just cost
Yeah.
us more money. They've got so many different things they're trying to do all about the same thing. They don't even know which way is up.
No, they really don't. They really don't. I have somebody else with us now. I am the Marine. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing? Are you a Marine?
I'm retired Marine.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, what's on your mind today? What's your first name?
oh, my name's Jamie. I'll take
Jamie, what's on your
Okay.
mind today?
Well, I had just been working at Social Security Administration before moving
Hmm.
back to my hometown, and I was applying for government jobs here and got 3 rejection letters today because of the hiring freeze that was enacted
Oh,
by President Trump on the 20th.
right.
So, and my dad is a civilian contractor out at the base, and they received a lot of emails today in regards to the DEI. They've already started the layoffs for some of the transgender and LGBTQ within the civilian
Right.
contractors working under the Department of Defense. And yes,
Right.
he is enacting pretty much all of the worst things he said.
Yeah. It's really having an impact on a lot of people. The DEI people are laid off. I understood that he was looking into identifying the newest hires with the federal government because they would be the easiest to get rid of. It's got to make it difficult for somebody younger looking for a job, especially with the federal government. That's just not the place to go anymore. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
And unfortunately, part of DEI, which a lot of people don't understand, it's not only about ethnicity and gender and everything. Veteran preference hiring also falls under DEI. So one of the best benefits of serving our country has now come to an end because there will no longer be veteran preference hiring, not even for jobs within the government.
Well, now I think with that, that's going to be one of those things where they won't consider that DEI, and they'll say keep doing that part of it. Keep doing the veteran hiring. That's fine. Like it'll be kind of one of those things they push under the table. They don't really talk about it, but I bet that'll still go on because
I don't know though. I don't know though
yeah,
because they're talking about cutting billions of dollars out of veterans' benefits. So why would they give them the
Yes.
benefit going in for a job?
Um, some of
that's
the
true.
things some of the things that I've been privy to because of my former employment at Social Security, there are already things like he was saying the 10-year cap on disability. So a lot of veterans that are coming back with PTSD, mental health issues, things like that, that don't get rated at that by the VA do tend to get disability through their state.
Right.
And now there's going to be a 10-year cap because, we all know that our legs grow back after 10 years, our PTSD goes away after 10 years.
Right. Right. It's just
I mean,
amazing to me. Every country in the world can.
With Robert Kennedy going to be head of Health and Human Services, he probably would pitch that. I mean, that's how insane this is. Um, That's where we're at. We're in the world of even Alice in Wonderland. Alice would go, "No, I'm leaving. This is too crazy. Even this is too much for her right now."
Let me ask you this, Jamie. As a former Marine, you no doubt know other veterans out there. You have to know some veterans that actually voted for Donald Trump. Have you had occasion to talk
Oh,
to them now and how they're feeling about it now?
I actually posted one of my rejection letters, just the notice that points out that, because of the presidential memorandum that was sent out, that there was the hiring freeze, that the job posting had been canceled. And I've got veterans that are saying, oh, but it'll be better for the economy in the long run. And I said, so because I know that this Marine gets his disability, but he's been out longer than 10 years. I said, okay, so are you going to say the same thing about it being good for the economy when your disability goes away? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, I think we were talking about this before. A lot of these dumb fucks think, well, he said that, but he didn't mean it. Well, you're going to be surprised because he is going to attempt it. Whether he'll accomplish it or not, I don't know. But he is doing it. At least he's giving it the old college try.
A lot of this still has to go through the House. I
Yeah.
mean, with the first budget he rolls out, cutting the Veterans Department or a trillion out of Medicare. Good luck. That's what I'm going to say. Good luck. Because that's why they haven't proposed legislation, because it's not only going to work. But I will say this, and I said this in my last video about everything that's coming down. There's a scene in the newest Star Trek where one of the crew members was in a tight spot and they were watching people die around him. And she said, quote, "The people who died never thought they would. They said everything would be okay. The people who did not knew they would and fought it every inch of the way." If we keep dismissing this as insanity, we will get caught flat-footed. You have to expect they will do this and fight
Yeah.
accordingly, because if you don't, they will. Next thing you know, we're going, what happened? Then it's too late.
Well, that's what we did after
And
November 5th. What happened? We assumed the right thing would happen. We thought everything was in line to happen, but it didn't turn out that way. So if what we did prior to November 5th doesn't work, it only makes sense. Let's do something fucking different.
okay, I do want to address there was a few things that I had missed down in the comments. Harvey
Sure.
BC, yes, I am very well aware that PTSD does not go away after 10 years. I spent my last combat deployment as a lioness in Iraq and lost one of my female Marines. So, yeah, I'm very well aware it does not actually go away after 10 years. And I understand that my spine, I tried to get a new one, but they're on back order. Um,
Right.
Thank you for your
part of the
service.
pun. But
Right. Right. Well, I think the people out there making those kind of comments, you're going to have to open. I get this kind of thing all the time, and they'll say, "You said this." It's fucking sarcasm. Learn sarcasm. That's what it is. Nobody
yeah,
believed that's what she meant. She was trying to make a point. Stay with the program here.
it's
Yeah.
my second fluent language. Sarcasm, curse words, and sometimes English. Um,
Yeah.
but you're all absolutely right with some of these things, with some of the um, claims that he had made during his campaign, and people thought, oh, that's never going to happen. That's so far out. Well, think 5, 6 years ago, we never thought that Roe v. Wade would be overturned either. And these are all
Absolutely.
things that every American should be concerned about. And if the show that was put on during the inauguration didn't terrify you about what Elon Musk wants to do, come on, he's talking about planting flags on Mars. What about taking care of the humans here on fucking Earth? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Exa-
Pardon my language.
No,
Oh,
you you come on my
are you
show and you
kidding?
say "fuck" and you're sorry. Please don't worry about that. We say whatever the
But
fuck we want to say. And I tell you what, we
Exactly.
could use Tim Walls's term of weirdo because that fucking Elon Musk is a weirdo, and people will say, "Well, he's autistic." I don't give a fuck if he's autistic. He's also on ketamine and other fucking drugs. This guy is a weirdo, a real
my
weirdo, and somehow he got $400 billion in the process. Maybe that's the trick.
My 15-year-old son is autistic, and I guarantee you that didn't turn him into, I'm sorry, he's never given a salute like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that was just.
Exactly.
But
Real quick, ma'am, you said you're a lioness? You were a lioness in Iraq?
I was part of the first female engagement team in Iraq
Um,
during my
so
last combat deployment.
I'm gonna go off strict. Have you seen the show on Paramount, Linus?
Uh, I have not.
Yeah, check it out. It's fiction, but it'd be right up your alley. It's with Zoe
Most likely
Saldana.
not. Most likely not. I do apologize, and I don't mean to um,
No, that's fine.
diminish it,
I understand.
but there are a lot of aspects of PTSD that
No, I could understand that.
I wouldn't enjoy the time remembering that.
But I
Let, let,
appreciate your
well,
service. Thank you.
since
Thank
you
you
were
for
in
your
active
support.
service, we have the prospect of Pete Hegseth being the director of the Defense Department. Now, he very specifically says we should not have women in combat. What's your thoughts about that, given what you've done?
Okay, so as a young Marine, when I first joined the Marine Corps, because I was a parachute rigger, I packed parachutes and jumped out of planes for a living. I was the fifth female in the history of the Marine Corps to get my MOS, and a lot of my capabilities were questioned by male Marines until I proved them wrong. I
Right.
proved them wrong again in Iraq 5 times. Um, Pete Hegseth, now that is a disgusting individual, and under no circumstances should he be in charge of the military. Um, 4% of the Marine Corps is female, 12% of the United States military is female. To have someone that has had his history and the things that he has said, written, and stood 10 toes down and said with his whole chest, and you're going to change that opinion within a week? No, you don't give up. Okay, subtlety is for those who lack courage in their convictions. He was not subtle when he made those claims in his books and in his interviews, and you don't change deep rooted, even the most misogynistic ideals in a week.
No, no. But he will quit drinking altogether if he gets the gig. So
Oh
you
yeah,
never
I
know.
won't show up to work drunk if I'm elected, but I'm not going to stop now. Um, but just like any of the charges that he's had, you take your average E2, that would get them put out of the military quicker and shit. But this is
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be the SecDef, and not to mention our commander in chief. Let's say that if you had 34 felonies and you walked into a Marine Corps recruiting station, they'd laugh at you and kick you out with all of the Kiwi on their boots, because
yeah.
there are certain morals clauses that we have to join the military, even if you're just going downrange to shoot at people. They want to make sure that the
Yeah.
people firing the weapons have good morals, but that doesn't count for the commander in chief or our SecDef.
Well, I don't think he
Absolutely
gets
not.
through. I just don't think he makes it. I think ultimately he's going to try. They're going to try everything to get him. I don't think he gets over the. It's going to be probably closer than it should be, but I don't think he'll get there.
I
Now,
watched the
I
So,
entire 4 hour confirmation hearing for Pete Hegseth because it's something that matters a lot to me. And even the female military members, like he got confirmed, it got sent on.
yeah, that's the weird thing about this. A lot of people were against him. Then he had the hearing, and some of them says, "Well, he doesn't sound too bad." He didn't answer one fucking question. He deflected. He distracted constantly. He had no answers for some of the misdeeds or crimes that he's committed or the behavior that he's shown. And still, these people somehow find a way to think, well, I think he would be a good guy. If you take all that shit away, if you take all the misdeeds, the crimes, motherfucker's still not qualified. His
and look,
rank
He's
in
never
service
managed.
doesn't qualify.
Well, there is no clear cut qualification. There's no, that's not a contingency for the position, but the fact that he mismanaged funding for, nonprofit organizations that were less than $10 million, and now you're going to give him over $3 billion. Like, wait, what? $30 billion? He mismanaged 10 million. The largest organization that he's ever even been close to running was less than 500. So how do you get to being in charge of 3 million people?
Because you got a dipshit nominating you. That's exactly it. And it doesn't matter. It's all about looks with Donald Trump. And at this point, he wants Hegseth because people said he can't have him. And he wants to prove
Yeah.
he's the genius. Part of
I'm
me,
going to ask a
part of me
question
says,
go ahead. I just want to ask a quick question, Mike. I'm sorry. So Trump has been threatening everybody, Panama, Greenland, and all that. I want to ask, as a former military member, if he's putting American soldiers on American soil, like at the border, and he orders something against American citizens, what recourse do you have, ma'am? He's already threatened that. Do they have to follow? Can they walk away? Where are you stuck in a situation like that?
Honestly, I'd never even considered it a possibility to have to fathom in this United States. One, we're a nation of NATO. Let's take the NATO factor of it, because if anyone goes to war against a member of NATO, we all have to stand up, right? So we're going to be fighting ourselves,
yeah, exactly.
and this is, another thing. One of the whole, I don't want to say accomplishments, but things that they tout is that there were no new wars under Trump. But yet Trump wouldn't even dignify it with no, I won't use military members to go into Greenland. He wouldn't even say that that was not going to happen. So I don't understand why any veteran is still all for it when that's what we spent our entire careers or our entire enlistments, even if you only did 4 years. I will protect this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But when the president of our country is trying to make us the domestic terrorists, I I can't. I'm shaking. I am so livid. I am literally physically shaking right now.
Well, we know that, our military doesn't have to follow um, illegal,
Unlawful orders. We do not have to
unlawful
follow
orders.
unlawful orders.
Let me ask you this. Now, those unlawful orders could come from the Pentagon, maybe even generals if Donald Trump has any luck um, firing generals and getting other generals in there. I can't believe any general would go along with anything that's unlawful. But is there enough? Is there enough buffer between the people on the ground and the Pentagon to acknowledge those unlawful orders and push back against it?
All except for the United States Marine Corps, because the United States Marine Corps is the only branch of the military that the president can send in anywhere without an act of Congress.
Wow.
I didn't know
The
that.
Marine
Well,
Corps is a force in readiness. The president can send us into combat without having it cleared through Congress.
wow. I had no idea
Wow,
of
that's a
that.
scary thought.
That is a little scary. What would you do in that situation if you were asked to go battle Mexico? Being a former Marine, go battle Mexico. How would you handle that situation? If the president said you had to do it, and you had to do it, it would be it's fucking crazy to even think about it. But it
It
might be
is.
something that somebody's put in that position. What would you do in that situation, Jamie? Or what would your colleagues or compatriots do if they were ordered to do something they knew was absolutely wrong and made no sense? Or going after the American public? I mean, what could you do? Is there anything you could do?
I don't think there is a force strong enough. Yeah, I guarantee you that if President Trump tried to enact my former unit, he would have a really hard time doing that to get us to commit acts of terrorism on our soil.
Well, that's
I
good
don't
to
know a
know.
single
Yes.
Marine that would pull that trigger.
That's good to know. Well, Jamie, thank you for joining us. You've been
Thank you for
a
having
fountain
me.
of knowledge. Fountain of knowledge. I won't say thank you for your service. I'll thank you for your sacrifice and your bravery. And you were the front line for the safety of this country. Now, let's hope we can keep it safe with the clowns running the show currently.
I appreciate your support. Thank you for having me, and um, thank you for the knowledge that you're spreading. Because right now it's a scary time to be living here.
It is. It is. And you're welcome back anytime. We would love to hear you every chance we can. So please come back when you have the opportunity.
Absolutely. Everyone have a good
Thank
evening.
you, ma'am.
You're
You.
welcome.
All right.
Bye bye.
That is Jamie. She is a former Marine, experienced a lot. You know, she sacrificed a lot, and she has some insights to this thing, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it. We've got this person who's been asking to come on, so we'll give you a shot. Do not fuck it up.
I
Sneaky
won't.
G man.
I promise. First off, Boomer, I freaking love your content.
Thank you.
I agree with you 100%. Every time I see the date, and I'm like, oh, it's a new date. I gotta watch this one. And just want to tell you, please keep the good fight. Don't stop.
I will. No, I'm not going to. I'm a retired old guy with an attitude, so what else I got to do?
I'm. I don't understand. I don't know if you guys saw the latest Fox episode, but they showed Elon Musk's speech, but they cut
Yeah.
out the Hitler salute.
Oh,
I mean,
Jesus.
let's talk about misinformation here. And I don't understand why people are making excuses for this man. I mean, I don't. It's not, and there is no such thing as a Roman salute. I mean, it's fictional.
Yeah.
It's not true. Okay. Um, these next 4 years are going to be trying times, and I'm a vet as well. And I follow someone who he had a name prior to, which I can't recall, but now his name is Veterans for Trump. That's his
Hmm.
name. And I've asked him multiple times if and I do have disabilities. I do get compensated for my disabilities. And I said and I use the VA for my medical service, my provider, because that's a right that I
Well, you should.
earned.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
earned. I
absolutely.
dug foxholes. I did road marches. I was deployed. I'm sorry. I did have a few friends that were veterans that did vote for Trump. A few, I'll say, I mean, I didn't make a count, but I know two for sure completely regret it because when they heard about the, 2 trillion or like the $114 trillion cut that they want to do with the VA, they got scared. And
I
again,
bet.
back to this gentleman, vets for Trump. Um, I've asked him multiple times. If you go to his page and you see where he says we did it, we got Trump in office, you will see volumes of me asking him if he takes our benefits away, are you going to hold him accountable? And he dodged that question like he was Neo on the Matrix. It
Yeah.
is it is so it is so disgusting and despicable. Nobody is holding him accountable. You call him a felon, they'll say, "Oh, he's never served jail time, so that doesn't count." You call
Yeah, it
him
does.
you call him an S or a liable for SA. Oh, that happened long ago. It doesn't count. Nobody. They don't even want to talk about the fact that he was impeached twice, because they'll come back and say, "Oh, he was acquitted," but people will forget that the Senate voted not to question anybody. That's
Right.
why he was acquitted.
No matter what anybody says, he was impeached. The Senate didn't convict him and kick him out, but he was impeached. There is no question about that. You know, the thing about it is, Sneaky, I've said it before. At this stage of the game, it doesn't do any good. There's no value in debating with these people. They
No.
don't listen to reason. They don't understand or comprehend facts or truth. So there's really no point in doing it. I think all we can do is kind of do what they did the last 4 years. Just come out and say, well, he's a fucking SA guy, or he's a convict, or he fucked this up, or he fucked that up, or Elon did this, and just keep that in the narrative and keep shoving it in their face. And they'll want to
Mhm.
try to explain it away. Just don't let them do it.
And before I go, I just want to say this one last thing. And I want to bring up Germany, for example. If
Okay.
Elon Musk would have done that in Germany, he would have been arrested on the spot.
Yeah.
And the difference between, Germany and the States regarding, Nazis and us with the Civil War and the Confederate flag is that it's illegal to own a Nazi flag and to do the Nazi salute in Germany. And the Germans did it correctly because after World War II, what did they do? They educated their youth about World War II, about Hitler, and the effect that he had on the Jewish people, the concentration camps and whatnot. But let us have class on slavery, on the true American history of
Right.
slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, the civil rights, signing of the civil rights. Um, they will say, "Oh, you're making this about racism, and you're making us feel sorry about being YT." No, it's not. It's so that history doesn't repeat itself. And the evidence isn't. I mean, it's when you look over to Germany, the evidence speaks for itself.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a 65-year-old white guy, and in my 65 years, I have never ever felt like I've been infringed upon because I happen to be white. That argument is absolute bullshit, and I'd be happy to argue with anybody about this. This is about fear. This is about, I've said before that these people are terrified at the prospect of white people becoming the minority. And
Hmm.
they say, "Aren't you worried about that?" I go, "No, I'm not worried about that." And they say, "Why aren't you worried about that?" Because I didn't treat people of color badly. Clearly, you are worried about it because you do treat people that way. It's fucking ridiculous. And you get tired of listening to it. You know, after this last election, I thought, okay, we can be done with it. Shut these fuckers up. But damned if we don't have another 4 years of dealing with this bullshit. It's tiring after a
And
while.
it's only day two. It's
Yeah.
only day two. And I'll
Yeah.
say this. This is the last thing I'll say too about. And I'm not going to call it CTR because I hate it when Republicans want to minimize everything by just putting initials by it. Let's call it what it is: critical race theory, diversity, equality, and inclusion. There's reasons for that. Now about the CTR or critical race theory, it's because parents don't want to have that conversation with their kids about the history of this country. That's what it boils down
Yeah.
to, and it shows how I hate to say this, how soft some parents are. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I don't want to generalize everybody, but I mean that's my opinion. That is strictly my opinion.
Well, it starts at the top when a clergywoman says to Donald Trump, "Have mercy." And Donald Trump has the audacity to say, "She's a nasty woman." Somebody
Oh
else
my
says she
God.
should be deported. It's about embarrassment to him. And
Mm-hmm.
this motherfucker
Mm-hmm.
should be embarrassed every day. This guy has disappointed everyone in his life. He's embarrassed himself day after day from the time he was born till right now.
Mm-hmm.
Except everybody let him off the hook. And that bishop did not let him off the hook. He had to sit there and listen to it. And that's the key to what we have to do. We have to talk, make them listen to it, and give them no room to talk back.
He's a narcissist. You're not
Absolutely.
supposed to do that to him.
That's
And the
right.
funny thing is, I saw on CNN, he was a former reporter on ESPN, but he was on Fox News, saying that it was inappropriate. It was, how dare her? Yeah, how dare her to make immigrants look humane, look human? give them an identity. How dare that bishop to say they're just people, and the fact that and they want to quote Jesus all the time.
Yeah.
Did
They
Jesus
don't
not say
quote
love thy
Jesus.
neighbor? Jeez, I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, how dare her use the words of Christ? Oh
Exactly.
my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
audacity. And then you get
I'll-
Franklin Graham siding with Donald Trump. This guy's supposed to be a religious icon. His dad was a religious icon, and he has the audacity to stand with Donald Trump against a fellow clergy member who is just saying what Jesus said. Fucking appalling.
and what's the group that it's the Jewish group that got on Kanye West? What's
The ADL.
ADL? The ADL gave Elon Musk a pass. Are you kidding me?
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable
Are
to me. I
you?
heard that and I'm going, Jesus Christ.
And that proves that money makes the world go around, y'all. Simple as that.
Well, I'll go ahead and go. It's I know
Well,
this
thank you,
sounds really
Sneaky.
I know this sounds really cheesy, but it is an honor to talk with you. I love your content. I've been following you for so long, and I know I probably quoted on your stuff too. I mean, it. Thank you so much for being that, and I apologize for requesting to come on so many times, but I just
That's all right.
had to give you your flowers, sir. Well deserved. Well deserved.
I appreciate that, and I can assure you that I'm more honored that people like yourself actually take the time to listen and follow me. That's to me, that's more of an honor. I appreciate that immensely. I'm just a guy. People talk to me all the time, every day, so it's not that big a deal. But I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate you keeping up and following and listening to what I have to say. Because when I started doing this, my kids said, "Nobody wants to hear your shit." I know, but
Well,
fuck, we'll just do
you
it.
you can tell your kids we do want to hear your shit, and we want to hear your shit
Okay.
constantly. Have a good night, guys.
I
Thank
will
you
do
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Take care, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sneaky.
Thank you.
Real quick to
You know
piggyback
what?
on what he said about what Fox said
Go
about
ahead.
Elon's not showing Elon's salute. CNN didn't. MSNBC didn't. All the other mass media cut out the salute when it first happened. This is not just a
Wow.
Fox News thing. It's the mass media covering up too. That's
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah,
That's where we
absolutely.
come in. We
Did
got to
you?
keep talking about it. We got to keep putting it out there. Other creators showing the clips, pointing it out. That's going to have far more reaching impact than the mass media does anymore. Most people don't like them. They don't
Well,
trust
they
them.
fired
Deep into the right,
a weather
into the right
person
field.
in Wisconsin because she did an
Yeah.
Instagram post about saying that was a wrong thing, and they fired her that day. They fired her
Yeah.
that day because they got phone calls.
It's pretty amazing the shit they pull. Did you hear what Donald Trump said? He said it was shameful that she brought politics into the church. Fucking ironic, because the evangelicals have been doing that for 8 goddamn
Let me-
years.
Since these
More like
guys don't
80.
know what the Bible, have never read the Bible,
Yeah.
Jesus overturned the money lenders
The
tables
money
in the church,
changers.
in the synagogue,
The money changers.
because they have
Right.
brought that into the church. So for them to say it is ridiculous. Also, churches have been pushing politics for freaking decades. If they were taxed properly because of that, we wouldn't have that problem. This is just an excuse because Trump is such a weak man. And it was just a sermon. Dude, really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to bring in Sherry, who is on the list here. I don't know if we've talked to Sherry before. I don't think we have, but hopefully she's going to pop in here. Sherry, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. We wanted to get a lot of people in, and you were there, so I said, let's bring in Sherry. What's on your mind today? I'm guessing a lot with all the bullshit going on.
Oh, yeah. I've just been listening, and I agree with everything that you've been saying. And it's just so sad that all this stuff is going on. I'm a retired police officer in Detroit, And it's just looks like it's scary times right now. It's scary times, and I never thought that this was happening. I didn't worry about it for the whole year. I'm like, it's no way. There's no way that this
Right.
can happen. There's
I
no
think,
way that they can let
yeah, we
him
all
back
thought
on
that.
all this stuff. So, it's just really sad and unfortunate that this is going on. So I've just been listening to you guys, and I agree with everything that you're saying.
Well, that's more than I get in my own household. People agreeing with what I have to
I
say.
know.
So I appreciate that, Sherry. I mean, politically they agree with me, but the rest of the shit, you don't know what you're talking about. So I appreciate the compliments and the fact that you are
Yeah.
involved and come on the
And
show here
I'm like I
because
said, I'm retired, so I'm hitting on 50 right now. I'm hitting on 50. So I've never seen so much division. I mean, just one person causing so much division in my lifetime. Because I've
yeah,
never seen people differently. And of course, being a law enforcement, I have to, I see everybody as the same, even some criminals, unfortunately. But we're all people. So it's very sad.
well,
It's
Sherry,
just
as a
sad.
former police officer, you've seen some pretty fucked up people. Have you ever
Oh yes,
seen this many fucked up people in just Washington, D.C.
unbelievable.
currently? Just in the Capitol and the
No.
White House? It's amazing.
I cannot believe it. I mean, and we've had our issues here in Detroit, but if anything like that ever happened, people are taking a stance. They are being removed. I've seen people on the top bosses had been walked out of the precinct, okay, from doing certain things. They come in there with that box and they pack them up and get them out of here. And I cannot understand it. I do not understand it at all. I can't. But again, like everyone said, it's the money thing. It's about the money. It's about the money. There's no way that six people in this world making so much money, billions and billions of dollars, and he became a billionaire just because of everything that's going on. And it's sad that it's
Yeah.
about it's money. So it's
It's a
money and
class
power.
thing. You're absolutely right. It's the wealthy against the rest of us, and I think people are getting tired of it. Hopefully, there is. Some people keep talking about a revolution, and the fact of the matter is, I'm not talking about a revolution in a traditional sense with fighting in the streets. But there comes a time when the people come with their figurative pitchforks and say, "We're tired of the bullshit. We're tired of
Yes,
being your serfs. We
yes,
want some equality here," and hopefully, it comes soon.
yes. And I see someone ask me about the J6, and I remember sitting in my living room the day that happened. Unbelievable. I was cooking, and my kids was like, "Ma, what's going on the TV right now in at the Capitol?" I'm like, "Oh my God!" So for everyone or anyone to say that that wasn't criminal, I I don't agree at all. At all. That was a
Yeah,
horrific. Never seen anything in my life. Being a police officer, never seen anything like that in my life. And I don't agree with
it
any of it. I don't agree with him pardoning them. I don't agree with that at all.
absolutely. Well, Sherry, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on, and
Thank
thanks
you.
for all you did as a police officer. And stay strong. And if we're going to have to fight this thing, we're going to need you too. So be ready.
And I'm ready and I'm here for it. Thank you.
Stand down and be ready, as
Be
Donald
ready.
Trump once said. Be
Exactly.
ready. Be ready.
Thank you.
All right, Sherry. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Now, I've got Eric and Will with me. They're regular guests on the podcast and frequently on the lives too. This whole J6 thing is becoming very troubling because he basically released 1,600 criminals out. Now, some of them were already out of jail. It's not like they all came pouring out of jail. But the fact of the matter is, if they're pardoned, they can still buy guns, as far as I understand. They can do all the things. We know at least one of them is back in jail for a gun issue. Um, what do you think comes out of this? Do these people regroup and start more shit, or do they just get scattered to the winds, or what happens?
I think some will regroup. I think some will scatter. I think some of the ones that were the lesser crimes, the ones that were not really part of the big groups that were just there that day, that got out of control because they got wrapped up in the mob. There were some of them that did that. And did they commit crimes? Yes. But they didn't go there with the intention of committing crimes in attacking the Capitol. I think a lot of them
Right.
probably don't get back in the mix, but the ones, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and the people that lean toward those type of people, they're probably going to try to reorganize. And I'm seeing some creators saying that like the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys are having a spike in membership. That this is helping them because they have, people that would have normally considered it and went, "Oh shit, I'll get in trouble. I'll get thrown in jail. I might face criminal charges." They were backing off, and now Donald Trump's in office, and everything's in their favor, so they're getting a little braver. I don't know what the ultimate outcome is going to be of it, but I saw one of the congressmen was talking about maybe it's time that they look at changing the presidential pardon power in response to not only Biden's pardons of the J6 committee and his family and stuff, but also this, and said, hey, maybe it's time we react and Congress does something. So we might see some changes there. I don't know.
I will just say this: if you're looking for a gathering spot of Proud Boys or Oath Keepers, the first place I'd check are the all-you-can-eat buffets. That would probably be the best spot to find them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. Eric's right. I mean, the hardcore will be the hardcore. Will it become Trump and MAGA's version of the brown shirts? I don't know. The disturbing thing is there are a lot of members of local police and sheriff across the country are part of these organizations. That's a proven fact. The FBI sent that out. Will it get worse? I don't know. I mean, with the immigration raids coming, how much of the local police are going to help? The DOJ already sent down a memo saying that if any local officials try to stop ICE from doing their job, they could be prosecuted. This is just meat. Right now, these first 3 days is to feed his base because he knows he can't change the price of eggs or gas. He's not going to do anything they want. He's just feeding their hate because that's what these guys live on. That's all they've got. And they're going to spend a lot of taxpayer money on this bullshit. And I wonder how far that's going to go till someone says stop because we can't afford it.
Hopefully Congress says stop, but that remains to be seen when we're talking about the Republicans. They don't seem to be any less complicit in this whole situation. We have somebody else with us. Goes by the name of Give No Shits. I like
It sounds
the
like it,
attitude.
but I give a lot, so it's kind of an oxymoron.
So what's on your mind?
Well, the same thing you guys are talking about. I guess if I could explain my situation, I live a little on the fringes of society, so to speak. I'm a gay woman.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, that's the point, right? Like, what does that mean? I'm a gay woman, married to another woman. But I'm married to a 31-year military veteran, extremely experienced in the military and things of her employment there that I can't speak on.
Sure.
And watching this stuff go down is not unexpected, but tragic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like we know it's coming, right? I think today was a little bit more than I thought would happen with the EEO. That was shocking.
Yeah, but remember, a lot of this stuff, he just says it. He's not necessarily going to be able to accomplish it because he doesn't have the end decision in this thing. He's just trying to stir up shit and scare people.
I think with that, though, what I worry about is that he has controlling power in Congress. And I think that's what we lose sight of. And I'm hoping that we have some wherewithal Republicans that won't let this go through. You know,
Eric and I and Will have talked about this before. Yes, he has a very slim margin in the House of Representatives. And remember, we have the filibuster
Yeah.
in the Senate. As much as we hated it before, it's going to save us from a lot of things.
Right.
The thing we've discussed before. As much as Republicans want to sidle up and bend over for Donald Trump, they also have to consider getting reelected in 2026 and
Right.
2028. They start doing things like cutting Medicaid or Medicare, or doing some things that are just bad optically. Some of these people are going to push back. They really don't have anything to support Donald Trump
But,
over after this flurry of shit goes on,
but do
because
you
he
do you
can't give them
think
anything.
but do you think optically that they believe they're in the wrong and could be punished over it? Or do you think that this is just completely emboldened the Republican Party, that they are now in permanent control? Like, it seems to me that there's a mindset on that side that if they continue to bluther these things out of their mouth, that they have no recourse from anybody. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like
but
they feel strong, and they may never comply ever again.
well, I don't know about that, because if if what they do harms the country and the people in it, it's going to affect the elections in 2026
Yes,
and
agreed.
2028. Some of them, it's not that they're good people or they're going to do the right thing. It's they're going to do what they always do: save their ass, save their
Right,
power, save
right.
their money. Um, and maybe I'm being foolish saying that. That just makes common sense. Now that said, logic and common sense told me Kamala
Yes,
Harris would win.
yes,
So you got
exactly.
to take that with a grain of salt.
Well, I think if logically, you know, my perspective is I'm going to give it 6 months. I'm going to give it
Yeah,
6 months, and in 6 months, I'm going to see either his base crumble and go, "Oh my God, were we wrong?" Or I'm going to see us go, "Holy shit, things are
yeah.
changing entirely." It's
I
one of
think
the
that's
two.
reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think
it's
it is.
and both are scary to a point. Like, one's exciting a little. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see that, but at the same point, if I see that from them, I've suffered for the next 6 months as well. So have you. You know, we're gonna go through it together, regardless.
As somebody who's in the LGBTQ community, are you fearful at this point, you and your partner
You
or
know,
friends that?
I'm gonna say this. I'm an older participant in this community. Um, I have lived in, the environment, the early 90s, things like that,
Yeah.
where I was literally physically assaulted.
Wow.
I haven't, thankfully, been physically assaulted in many, many years. I am worried because I'm not so much worried about myself. I've come to grips with all this. I am worried about the younger people that this is probably going to immediately affect. I'm worried about them being able to. Boy, I don't even know. Like, you asked me a question that I can't put into words. This is personal.
No, I
It's
know what you're saying.
You know what I
I've
mean?
said it
Like,
before about myself. At 65 years old, nothing's really. At 65 years old, being a straight white man, an old white man, nothing's really going to impact me that much. But
right.
I have some deep concerns about my kids, my grandkids, and
Yeah.
future great grandkids.
Like,
I'm getting
I'm
old
not
enough
worried
where I got
about
to look at the end.
Yeah, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about, though, the younger ones below me, that it's like I can't save them. I want to. I try to when I vote. I try to look out for them. It's disheartening when I know that a majority of my family votes against me, but
Yeah,
turns around and tells me they love me. Well, that's funny because you
yeah,
just went against everything that would protect me, and I know how they feel. The only difference is I'm so used to it that it doesn't affect me the same way because it's
yeah. I
been
get
going
that.
on my whole life.
I get that.
And I
Yeah,
think that's the hard part for me to articulate, is that they can't speak on what I already know. And they grew up in a different world. Like, they were more accepted. They've had a chance to exist in the world without issue. and now they're seeing that could be stripped back. I
I
get a glimmer of it. You know what it's just different.
They never seem to hate.
No, not
It's the
not
truth.
like, not like I did. Not like I
Yeah,
did.
they never seem to hate that us
Yeah.
older folk have seen the the separations, the
Right.
laws where they literally arrested gay gay
Oh,
people for being
absolutely.
gay, all that.
You
And
know,
same thing with people of color. A lot of younger people didn't see the hate,
well, it
didn't live
changes
through the hate, through
perspective.
the riots. I did. I saw a lot of it.
Absolutely. Changes perspective, it changes connection. It changes the idea of what, they're what they think they're fighting for.
right.
I think if you can't be fully in it, you don't fully understand it. And that's the hard part. That's exactly, as a white woman, regardless of being gay, I have no clue what it's like to be a black woman. I just know it's like to be a gay female. Truly.
Right.
And that's I think, where we lose perspective is we cannot step in everyone's shoes. We can empathize. We can try to protect them in whatever way we can, but we're never going to fully understand what that feels like. That's never going to happen.
I always say we need to fight back, and I should qualify that. I personally, as an old white guy who's straight, it's people like me that should feel obligated, who have the right mindset to fight back, because we're fighting back against our own. The people that are inflicting this on the marginalized folks are people that look like me, for God's sake, and that disgusts me every time I see it. But whenever I argue with somebody who's a Trumplafuck, typically they look like me.
Right.
And they're always amazed that somebody who looks like me is talking libtard shit.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for those of us that think the way we think to push back. I think I don't want to say we have more authority, but they can't come at us with all the bullshit they come at with you or Will or anybody else. I'm
Right.
like you, motherfucker, and I still think you're a dickhead.
Right. No, and you know what? I respect what you're doing and I appreciate it immensely. And it's, in today's moment, it's so hard to see your allies because you don't know who they are.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely. I know that.
yeah, it's incredibly difficult. So I think on a community level, when you get to a point where you have no idea who you're safe around, regardless of your life, regardless of straight, gay, black, brown, you have no idea who you can trust. So it's really segregating society down to no more community. There's no community.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest issue in my mind, what we're experiencing. No community.
The
It's tough going through
balkanization of the
life
United
not knowing who to
States.
trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's frightening, and I can't even imagine what somebody like Will or yourself or anybody else is going through. All I can do is denounce it to the best of my ability, but there's no way I can suggest I understand what you're going through. I just can't.
Well,
I'm just a big dumb white guy
I
who has
completely
the
appreciate
privileges
it.
of being white.
I appreciate it. Here's the thing. I feel like I'm not going to go through it because of my age. You know what I mean? I've gone through it.
Right.
I think at this point I'm married 15 years. My spouse, 31-year member of the military. We're the least concerned of anybody to a point.
Right.
You know what I mean? I worry about the young people. I really do, because society, we have failed them so bad, but we want to blame them. We want to, oh, you're too lazy, they're this, they're that. Well, you know what? At a certain point, I respect them so much for calling bullshit. Because
Anytime boomers or Gen Xers complain about the millennials or Gen Zs, I say, yeah, well, we raised the motherfuckers.
Oh,
Maybe you should look at yourself for fucking that up.
Exactly. And I am a complete Gen X. I'm completely Gen X. There's points I'm proud of it, and points I go, well, that's really cringy because I didn't want to be brought up this way either. I really didn't.
No.
Would I have preferred a parent that gave a shit that I existed? Absolutely. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I can't do anything about it.
No, you just got to live your life and go forward.
Well, I don't have kids. I didn't ruin a child, which is great. Could
Got that
have.
going for you.
I didn't ruin a kid. But I will stand with every child below me and stand up for their rights. I mean, what else can I do?
That was my goal in having kids. Once we had kids, everybody I knew said, "Oh, my parents fucked me up." I wanted, to be able to raise my kids and them not be able to say my parents fucked me up, and they better not say that, or I'll knock the shit out of them.
Here you go.
They're all bigger than I am. They're all bigger than I am. But no, I don't think we did, and I don't think they will think that. I tell my kids, I want to raise my sons to be better men than me. And if we want to improve this country, my sons better raise their sons and daughters to be better than them. And it should continue that way if we want to make any progress in this country.
Well, I think ultimately to have a sense of conscience and a sense of empathy and kindness to your partner, to strangers, is incredibly impactful.
Absolutely.
If you can teach a boy in today's times, and God, I wish our parents would have back then, just to teach a boy that boys don't have to just be boys. You know what I mean?
You can be human too. Apparently.
You're allowed.
A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to feel something. Instead of the boys will be boys mentality. I think that was the crushing aspect of our generation.
I've got two sons that are mama's boys, and you don't fuck with mama because she'll kick your ass. So
Right.
I think she did a good job with them. I just was there as kind of comic relief. I tried to do all the things they needed, and mom straightened them out pretty good. And I'm pleased by the way they grew up. They think a little too much like mom, but
I'll tell you
things could
this
happen.
though. Moms leave marks. Dads do too, but
Yeah.
there's something about a mom.
It's different.
It's
Absolutely.
incredibly different. And I think
Absolutely.
if I can tell another male, and I'm going to take this platform to say it, if I can tell another male person to try to emulate the mom in the family, I would tell him that in a heartbeat. Yes, do you need to raise
Absolutely.
strong boys? Sure. But you need to emulate some of that kindness so that your boys understand that you guys are equal. Like there's an emotional similarity between you guys. Because
Well, understand you could be strong, but also
Yeah.
have empathy and compassion. You can
absolutely,
do both.
absolutely. And I think we've lived a really long time in a society that thinks that's not possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you participating in the
Thank you
stories
for
and the
having
kind
me.
words, and feel free to come on anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Take
All right,
care.
no problem.
You too. Bye-bye.
We're in the last 15 minutes of this or so, so you and I, Eric and Will and I, we can talk a little bit about what's going on. It's always good to hear from the people in the crowd. I'm a firm believer that as many people as we can give a voice, we should, because we're stronger with more people of a like mind. And we're fortunate to have that with people watching this live. Where are you guys in your mindset right now? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you pissed? What's up with you?
Not scared. Kind of pissed. Mostly at just some of it's at the reaction. The fact that we've even gotten to this point. But
Yeah,
it's a lot of okay. He said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do that, and now we just got to take the. He's made illegal moves with some of his executive orders.
right.
And I want to touch on a comment I saw a long time ago in the comments saying, well, he has immunity. And I've said this a lot, but the immunity ruling does not mean those executive orders or any actions he takes
Exactly.
can't be overturned. All it means is that when he's out of office or even while he's in office, they can't throw a pair of cuffs on him for signing this executive order overturning birthright citizenship. He can sign it, but it doesn't mean the courts have to uphold it. Don't twist the two. The immunity ruling does not mean everything he does is going to be legal.
It's
And
just that he
that's
can't
what
be prosecuted for it.
Right.
Exactly.
That's exactly. But a lot of people get that twisted. And
Yeah.
they don't have enough votes in the House and the Senate to do a lot of what they want to do. Somebody else in the comments said, well, there's not going to be an election in 26. They don't have the
That's not
votes
true.
to change the Constitution. And in fact, I did a TikTok on this earlier this morning. There's been something we've been hearing about for about four years for sure, probably longer, is this independent state legislature theory, where they've been saying, especially coming out of Republican areas, that the state legislature has absolute power when it comes to elections. State courts, federal courts can't intercede, and stay the hell out of it. Let the legislature determine who can vote, how they can vote, districts, dates, etc. And there was a case where the Montana State Supreme Court said, no, that's bullshit. And Montana appealed to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court refused to hear it. They said, no,
Exactly.
we're not touching that. So there's going to be elections. They don't have the votes to change the Constitution. And with the slim majority they had, don't forget, if he does what he said, they pissed off Mike Turner, and that's already one no vote coming out of a Republican. They can only
Exactly.
lose if all the seats that they have, if they go the same way they went in the general, they only have a 3-vote margin. Now they're down to 2.
Right.
It's going to be
That's
tough.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I brought Rebecca. Go ahead. I brought Rebecca in. She'll go after you, but go ahead, Will.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say is that for me, I have to keep looking at the calendar. Remember, it's only been 3 days, and this is just what he expected to do. It's just an entire Trump wanting to feel like the king he thought he should be. This is all this all. These are not executive orders to Trump. These are edicts that he's declaring.
Yeah.
Now, my biggest issue right now, because I'm not overreacting to it, I'm just saying, okay, what do we have to do? Already 18 AGs have pushed against the citizenship thing. There's going to be lawsuits, there's going to be court fights. The thing that I'm concerned about right now, what I'm not hearing is one fucking Democratic senator standing up and saying, we're not going to, I'm blocking this appointment. Not
Right.
one of them standing up and saying, I'm blocking Pete Hegseth. Not one of them saying I'm stopping Pam Bondi. They had a hearing for the Israeli ambassador today, their nominee. Asked the senator, the senator asked him, "Do you believe that under the Bible, Israel should have the entire West Bank?" And she said yes. That's not a diplomat. That's a fucking religious fanatic. That person needs to be blocked. And I'm watching the Democratic Party go,
Right.
well, we don't want to do this because we need to get reelected. Something like this, it's going to get worse. And that's the biggest problem. The Democratic Party is gone into a shell because they believe they need to change their message. There's not to change the message.
Right.
It's just they got sideswiped by a con man and $250 million that his sugar daddy dropped out. So for
Absolutely.
Lord's sake, someone in the fucking Senate said up, no, I'm going to block it all. Because you can do that. But they don't want to do it because they want to be bipartisan. Fuck that. So if you want me to say
Absolutely.
what I'm at, I'm pissed off at the Democratic Party for not fucking saying a goddamn thing right now.
Well,
I agree. Rebecca, I brought you up. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike.
No doubt a lot.
I just want to
Hey,
say I saw a lot
Rebecca.
of people in the comments today that are like saying they want to give up. They want to, and I don't agree with that. Like, take a break. Everybody take a break. If you need to take a break, take a break. I get that. But like, we need to fight. Like, you can't just give up. Giving up is not going to help us in any way.
That's what they want us to do. They want us to be afraid,
exactly,
and they want us
exactly.
to
And
give up. So
it's
do
really
the opposite.
disheartening to see people saying things
And
like
you-
that. And I was like trying to respond back to people saying like, you can't, don't give up. Like if you have to take your break, take your break. But you can't give up. We have to fight. We have the midterms. We like there's no
3 days in. Tell them,
we're
Rebecca,
3
just
days
your
in.
question, right? My remark would be, we're 3 days in and you want to quit. Please.
I mean, granted, it's been a whirlwind of 3 days. I can't deny that.
I think it's going to calm down, though. It's going to calm down, though.
Yeah.
Of course it will. He's doing his cock walk right now. He's freaking like showing his fucking strutting his stuff and doing his thing or whatever. And then some of it will come to pass, and some of it won't. I also like I was laughing hysterically because like they did that executive order, and the wording of the executive order was like at conception, that you have like the definition of men and women or whatever, but like it basically comes down to like at conception, yes, the child at conception, like the child is already like has XY chromosomes or XX chromosomes, or, like we already know it's male or female, but you actually can't tell that until I think it's 7 weeks when you could actually tell. So like technically the definition makes everybody a woman because at conception, since you can't tell, everybody really is a woman. It was I was like laughing hysterically at that like definition that they put in that executive order of men and women at conception.
They're not the brightest.
And
They're
if I
not
see
the best.
one more damn comment saying that it's all the United States, Israel, that the Israelis bought everyone, the Zionists, blah, 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 take your God blessed anti-Semitism and shove it.
Yeah.
For God's sake, stop it.
I agree. Well, I tell you what, guys, I got one violation notice, and I don't want them to take me down because I want to be able to come back. We had a lot.
Been a lot of Trump fucks. We've been blocking, but there's not been a lot.
Well, that's good. It only takes one of those goofy fucks to do something.
Yeah.
But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm in Georgia right now. I'm having trouble with my Zoom on my computer. I'm going to try to do another live tomorrow while I'm still down here because this is the easiest way to do it. And there's a lot of people that want to get on, and I want to get them on. So I'll come back tomorrow, same time, 9:30 Eastern time, 8:30 Central, 6:30 Pacific. I'll come on. We'll do another hour and 45 minutes, and we'll get as many people on again. And I appreciate everybody coming out. Eric, Will, Rebecca, and all the rest. Thank you for spending
TJ
some time
and I
with us.
love when you're in the Eastern time zone because like 10:30 for us is exhausting.
I know. I appreciate. We can maybe adjust that too when I get back to Minnesota. But thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Great live.
Have a good night, guys. Take care. Be
Thanks
safe.
for having me on again. Just want to say this, like I said last time, just a reminder, we're at 73 days now till TikTok could go away again. Don't forget, follow everybody anywhere they've got content, just in case. It's not a bad idea.
By all means, check out Analytical Iowan on TikTok
Eric, I might
and
need to
YouTube.
call you for a tutorial because I am technologically inept at this stuff.
I'll do my best.
Check out Binder38US on TikTok and YouTube and wherever else. Be sure to check in with them. They've got some great information. All of you that participated, thank you very much. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All right. Be